Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you are. I am going to vent about a text that I just received about real estate. I am a real estate agent, and sometimes the news doesn't tell you the whole story. And I don't want to indict Good Morning America, but anyway, this morning I got a text message from a client of mine that is in the market to sell their house. They're considering it. Um, anyway, it's a long story, but the point is they're considering selling their house, and they watched the first, I don't know, maybe 90 seconds or whatever of a report on Good Morning America about the housing market, and then they ran out, as most people do. They don't get to see, they don't get the benefit of sitting, drinking coffee and eating donuts and watching Good Morning America all day. So all they saw was this, that home sellers outnumber buyers. And, the report started to talk about how that was a new trend. Now, later in the report, and just for me, I had my home office. I had Good Morning America on, but it was the sound was down, so I was able to rewind and take the whole video of the piece. And what they did get into, they were responsible enough to get into the fact that this isn't all markets. And I'll post the video somewhere if somebody wants to see it. I don't know if that's legal for me to do or not, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, it's not true in all markets. So if you look at, they talk about Florida all over TikTok. There's people, there are a lot more sellers than there are buyers. I'm not going to get into the whys, but a lot of it has to do with insurance. And that's just not the case everywhere. So you're making people nervous when they don't get to, my wife's a teacher. She's out the door at 10 after 8, so if she happens to be watching the first 12 seconds of something and that's the headline, but that's not the whole story. So I don't expect Good Morning America to be able to tell it all, tell the whole story in the first 12 seconds. I understand that. But I also want everyone to understand that that's not the whole picture. So there is parts of the country that are becoming buyers markets, right? But there are still a lot of metropolitan areas. And the East Coast, specifically where I live, in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania, where there are hot markets and they are very much sellers markets. So I just wanted you to know. And it kind of perturbed me because this is not the first report that GMA has put out that kind of misled people, even though they didn't intend to. But it's the point, when you see the highlights, or you hear, and I'm sure there was a teaser. I didn't go back that far. I'm sure there was a teaser to say, hey, we're now in a buyer's market. So just make sure you're informed. If you don't have an agent, get a good agent. Get somebody that really knows the market. And good luck. Peace.